The RC44 racing circuit is unique. Fast and exciting boats raced by Pro-Am teams at the top of the world of sailing. It's a racing format that allows the best sailors in the game to beat up on each other as they battle one-on-one in a match racing contest. And then their captain of industry owners take control and race in some of the world's most appealing sailing locations. And the Pro-Am teams are racing a thoroughbred, a fleet of identical boats co-designed by the world's best sailor, Russell Coutts, designed for speed from carbon fibre and other refined Grand Prix materials. With every team racing a yacht identical in design, there's no hiding behind technology on the RC44 circuit, which in 2008 passed through Dubai, Sardinia, Austria, Italy and the Canary Islands. The format of each event is simple. The pros take the wheel for the first 2 days of racing, where they race a series of match race flights. One-on-one racing, where first is king and second is nowhere. Top of the table after 2 days is the winner of the RC44 match racing trophy. The 2008 tour is stacked with pro talent, sailing and business talent. Among the pro teams this season, Russell Coutts, Dean Barker, James Spithill, Ben Ainsley, Mateusz Kazmierowicz, Jasper Radic, Cameron Appleton, Sebastian Cole, Morten Henriksen and Marcus Wiese. And when the pros have fought for their professional pride, the owner-drivers take command and race. 10 fleet races over 3 days, with the pro sailor whispering tactical advice at their shoulders. Top this table to win the RC44 Fleet Racing Trophy. Included in the fleet racing is the longer DHL Coastal Race that takes the field on a more picturesque tour of the racing venue and offers a different sailing challenge. No changes are made, no controls made easier. The racing equipment for both professional and amateur skippers is identical. It's the equivalent of Bernie Ecclestone racing a Grand Prix in Lewis Hamilton's Formula One car. And the owners are big hitters too. Patrick de Barros, the Portuguese oil trader. Igor Lar, the Slovenian property tycoon. Larry Ellison, the American software giant. Chris Bake is a player in the international oil industry.
Morning. How are you?
And Torben Tornqvist, one of the most prominent oil traders in the world.
I think the good thing about having the mix is that the owners drive the boats in the fleet racing. That's the class rule. But for the match racing, it's open, and you can get the pros, people like James Spithill, myself, or Sebastian Cole, or Cameron Appleton, actually get in and drive the boats. If the owners want to race against us, they can, and so they can see what it's like to be in a real match race at the helm, or they can participate as part of the crew. And I think this is a good format because it gives both parties, some benefit.
The 2008 RC44 Championship Tour kicked off in the Western world's playground, Dubai. With the impressive man-made palm as a backdrop, the sunshine and steady winds of the Arabian Gulf provided the perfect antidote to winter in Europe. 6 teams set up at the Dubai International Marine Club Mina Seyahi, its focal point for international water sports.
The Dubai International Marine Club Mina Seyahi, we organize 120 water sports event here. And when it comes to sailing, basically here we call it modern sailing. We decided since 2006 to see the possibility to host an event. We said to Russell, that's a great concept basically to promote and to boost the sports, our sports sailing. And this is the first event of the 2008 season.
New teams, new crew combinations and a new season gave the early races an exploratory feel. Could Team Aqua, the dominant force in the 2007 season, lead in the way they'd done the previous year? German Marcus Wiese, leading the Sea Dubai team, claimed the scalp of America's Cup skipper James Spithill on Team Siref in their first race. And Wiese's newcomer team continued their winning ways, ending the day as the surprise leaders. But after 5 flights of match racing, Wiese was in top-level company, equal on points with America's Cup sailors James Spithill, Sebastian Cole and Dean Barker. 2008 was shaping up in an interesting way, but James Spithill soon proved why he's seen as a bright young signing as he won all his races on the second day of match racing to claim the RC44 Dubai Match Race Cup with 5 wins from 7 races. His run of success included victory over his boss, Russell Coutts, at the BMW Oracle Americas Cup team.
I mean, you look at all the pros here with Russell, Cameron, Sebastian Cole. It really is a tough group, and most of the guys that I face on the World Tour. Now to come out on top here is a good thing for the team, and personally good for me, so I can give Russell a bit later on.
With the match racing complete, it was time for the pro skippers to move into the tactical role and let their owner drivers do battle in the fleet racing series. Big seas and high winds provided challenging sailing and a few exciting moments, particularly for the less experienced owner drivers. Having controlled the match racing, Siref, with owner Igor Lar at the wheel, took a little longer to get going, with 6 boats on the start line. But elsewhere, 3 times America's Cup winner Russell Coutts was now acting as tactician on Patrick de Barros's team ES Bankers Dubai, and they were going well. Portuguese boat improved as the day progressed, and de Barros arrived back on the dock as the overnight leader.
Well, I think it's very exciting when you win 2 races out of 4 in a day. I mean, obviously we sailed very well to windward, and I think we were very fast downwind. And I like these conditions. It reminds me very much of Cascais in Portugal, where we have 15, 20, 25 knots, big waves. And I really love sailing in these conditions.
But de Barros's 2 firsts were not enough to take them clear of the Italian Team Hiroshi. Armando Giuletti, with pro skipper Sebastian Coll as tactician, thrived on the big seas and delivered a string of podium finishes that took them into the lead by the beginning of the final day.
Finally we have these waves and the boat is very, very nice. You can enjoy really sailing at the fast speed, and that at last very easy when of course all the crew work very well, like our crew now.
Slick crew work and smart tactical calls gave Hiroshi a DHL coastal race win and confirmed Giuletti as winner of the Dubai RC44 Fleet Race Series.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. The guys on board have done a really good job today, and we just show that we were very fast. Armando drive the boat very well, and we found the speed today to have a good result and to lock this event, to maintain our lead against the top sailors. So really happy about that, and we'll see how it goes for the next event.
One of the attractions of the RC44 fleet is the ability to transport the entire class between the international regatta locations.
We are doing a lot of coordination with our main sponsor, DHL. They do a huge job for us. They do all the shipping and trucking and custom coordination. This is a good help for us to have a good sponsor like this. We have a special customized 40-foot cradle, so we drop the boat on the cradle, then drop the mast down, and from there we can do anything without a crane, and then the boat is ready to be trucked. This container is designed to be able to assemble the boat very quickly without a crane, so you're saving costs in trucking and during the assembling of the boat. We are looking to have more boats, and we will go in just bigger venue because we will need more space, but there is no limit.
A month later, and the fleet had safely been delivered to the southern tip of Sardinia for the Cagliari RC44 Cup. The historic port of Cagliari has seen many a power struggle through its history and provided a fitting location for the second event of the 2008 RC44 Championship Trophy. Back in European waters for the first time this season, and with 4 more boats joining the circuit, Dubai winner Armando Giuletti was facing increased competition and a host of new names. As the match racing action got underway, one skipper soon started making waves out on the racecourse, and unlike all the others, he was not a professional. Larry Ellison, owner of BMW Oracle Racing, and with his America's Cup skipper Russell Coutts at his side, was going against convention. Class rules stipulated the owners must helm during the fleet racing, but the match racing is optional. So with only a handful of hours' experience at the helm of the RC44, Ellison opted to steer for the fleet racing and the match racing. And the American quickly showed he should not be underestimated. With Coutts calling the tactics, BMW Oracle eased past Team Aqua to notch up Ellison's first victory. And he followed this up with 3 further wins on day 1. This was an amateur putting together a professional scorecard. Day 2 started with the interesting side story of double Olympic champions Ben Ainsley and Mateusz Kazmierowicz going head-to-head as they met for the first time away from Olympic competition.
I've raced against Mateusz a number of times in the Finn with the last Olympics in 2004. He's a very, very good sailor and certainly risen up to the top of the star class pretty quickly. So, you know, it's fantastic for him. It's going to be interesting racing against him today. We'll see how we get on. Looking forward to it.
The start was close, but Ainsley came out on top in a hard-fought tacking duel to round the first mark in the lead. Kazmierowicz did his best to close the gap, but Ainsley was able to make his advantage stick and edged further in front to claim victory and keep his team Banco Espirito Santo in the hunt for a match race series victory. And as Larry Ellison and his BMW Oracle Racing team continued their hot streak, everything was set for a final showdown between the American software giant and the British double Olympic gold medalist. Would Ainsley end Ellison's perfect record? Or was the amateur about to give the professional a lesson in match racing?
Oh, it's a deciding match between Larry and ourselves for the competition, so we were really up for it. It was a good strong breeze, very physical.
Ainsley timed a near perfect start, and by the first windward mark, he'd stretched his lead to 4 boat lengths. But looking cool and calm in the Mistral's 20-knot breeze, Ellison made some textbook jives and began to eat into the deficit. And when he saw a gap at the bottom mark, Ellison made a bold move.
Got to that bottom mark, we got the overlap, we just carried a ton of speed down that run and pushed it as hard as we could, and we basically did a bit of rounding than those guys.
And once in front, that was where he stayed. That final win was all he needed. On his first time racing an RC44 and the only amateur skipper at the wheel, Larry Ellison won Cagliari's RC44 match racing trophy.
It's an amazing accomplishment. We have a great team, so I'm very pleased that I was a part of this team that beat some of the best match racers in the world, so maybe the best match racers in the world, so I'm very happy.
Having left the pros with plenty to think about, Larry Ellison turned his attention towards the next phase of the competition. But with shiftier conditions making things challenging, the Italian breeze specialists picked up the fleet racing baton and charged. Armando Giuletti picked up where he left off in Dubai and led the field. 4 race wins bred a consistency unmatched by the rest of the fleet. Giuletti comfortably took the title and in doing so increased his lead on the circuit standings. From the Persian Gulf, then the Mediterranean Sea, the RC44 Tour headed inland to Lake Trounsee in Austria. Set in the foothills of the Alps and fed by the River Danube, the Austrian Trounsee offers spectacular views and a contrast in sailing conditions from the ocean settings of the opening events.
The surroundings are great, the wind is tricky, but that's also part of sailing. Like ocean sailing and waves and small, slow shifts is one thing, but to be a complete sailor you also have to sail in shifty winds, flat water, and that's what it is here. So I think it's great.
But it all shut down as day 1 dawned. No wind, no sailing, and the prospect of a cramped match racing schedule as the event rolled on into day 2. But when a light wind filled in, it provided the perfect opportunity to set the race course close to shore. And as the day progressed, it was James Spithill who once again proved the man to beat, as he beat his BMW Oracle Racing America's Cup boss Russell Coutts to go into the final flight of the day undefeated. But there he faced a resurgent Cameron Appleton in a winner-takes-all encounter. After an even start, it was Spithill who made the most of the dying wind, coming out on top comfortably to win the match racing trophy with an impressive unbeaten record.
I think it was perfect. I mean, the conditions were challenging and pretty tricky, but it certainly kept the racing alive. You know, I put the day's success down to the boat handling and sail handling. It was, you know, it's such a shifty day. You really had to be quite slick on the manoeuvres. So, really full credit to the guys.
Having sealed his second match racing trophy from 3 events, Spithill handed the helm to owner-driver Igor Lar, a man who 10 months ago had never set foot on a boat. But the Slovenian has proved a quick learner, and CRF continued their winning role, a second and 2 firsts, giving them an early fleet race lead. The wind gods again denied, and day 4 was lost to calms. But when racing resumed, CRF were still firing. While they could do nothing to stop Team Banco Espiritu Santo winning the DHL coastal race, 3 more podium finishes helped the Slovenian team secure an unprecedented double at the Austria Cup.
All the thanks goes to James Spithill. I think he did the most important job on boat. All the crew was excellent. There was no major mistakes, so it was very easy just to steer.
Team CRF's great week in Austria means that at the halfway point of the series, the Slovenian team had closed the gap on overall leaders Italian team Hiroshi. But with 3 events to sail and a move onto Lake Garda, nothing was settled. A short hop from Austrian Lake to Italian Lake in July, and the shores of the stunning Lake Garda for round 4 of the 2008 Tour. Italy's largest lake is one of the world's most famous and popular sailing lakes. A spectacular mountainous setting, it was a venue that enchanted Larry Ellison and his professional skipper.
Well, we'll start with it's the most beautiful place I've ever sailed. I mean, I have a home in Lake Tahoe, and I used to think that was the most beautiful lake in the world, and it's not. It's here in Garda.
The event here in Malchesne is it's really one of the best venues to race sailboats in the world. You know, it's spectacular surroundings. But the wind conditions every day are challenging, and for me at my stage of my sailing career, I like variety. So doing 2 days of match racing and 3 days of fleet racing, I think is about the right balance.
9 teams shipped into Lake Garda on a circuit that is proving as popular as ever with the big names in sailing. But this is not just a showcase for the professionals. The circuit is also awash with keen amateurs looking to see how they measure up against the best in the sport. Perform well on the RC44 tour, and a career-changing invitation could lead to an introduction to the America's Cup.
Not far from now, in the future, we're seriously thinking to have to launch the Sea Dubai Match Race Academy, starting from the grassroots and up to the RC44 class.
My sailing ambition would be one day to sail America's Cup. It's a long way to go, but I think I can get there. We have Russell Coutts, Dean Barker, James Spithill, Cameron Appleton. It's great to be around these legends.
Lake Garda is renowned for a strong thermal breeze that you can set your watch by. Early afternoon is the appointment with champagne sailing and perfect match racing conditions. And after a frenetic schedule of races within touching distance of the shore, it was the tour leaders, Team Hiroshi and Team Aqua, who'd established themselves at the top of the standings. And it was no surprise that it all came down to the final flight of races. James Spithill recovered from an early loss to Mateusz Kazmierowicz to sit at the top of the standings with all of his matches complete. But the Australian's fate was no longer in his own hands. If Larry Ellison and his BMW Oracle Racing team won, the trophy would be theirs. But to lift it, they had the formidable task of overcoming Team Banco Espirito Santo with America's Cup skipper Dean Barker at the helm. As the gun went, the boats split tacks to opposite sides of the course. Tense moments. And as they converged at the top mark, it was Barker who had the lead. First blood to New Zealand. But Ellison and his crew kept fighting, attacking the lead boat all the way downwind and eventually forcing a penalty on Barker at the gate. And as Barker took his penalty, BMW Oracle Racing sailed away to victory, winning the match racing event at the Malcesine Slam Cup. Once again, Larry Ellison had shown the professionals how to match race.
Got around the mark first. He got the penalty. We extended in the downwind. They had a couple of nice jibes. Even without the penalty, we would have beat him to the finish line. So we're pretty happy about that last race, and it was just a very strong call at the end that Russell made. Left mark, left turn. Let's take the right.
After 2 days of high-energy action, there was a chance for the crews to relax and enjoy a little light entertainment, Italian style. Back out on the racecourse, it was all on hold once more as the wind refused to play the game. With the day's racing lost, a tight series came down to the DHL Coastal Race. Russell Coutts had switched his allegiance and was now tactician to Patrick de Barros. The switch proved to be a coup for owner de Barros as they crossed the finish line ahead to win the Coastal Race for the third consecutive regatta.
I think they're very challenging, and it's not because it's the third one I win in a row, but I think they should come double for the trophy, but I don't think my peers will accept that.
Unfortunately for de Barros, his nearest rival going into the race had tracked him all the way around the course. Armando Gioletti's second place finish on board Team Hiroshi was enough to help him secure another fleet racing trophy and increase his lead at the top of the overall standings.
Win RC44 Racing is a fantastic opportunity. Is the third victory for us in this year, and we are very happy.
In the northeastern corner of Italy, a stone's throw from the Slovenian border, the beautiful city of Trieste was the backdrop to round 5 of the 2008 RC44 Championship Tour. The picturesque Adriatic port is usually known for its steady breezes and perfect racing conditions. On this occasion, though, it was a menu of light winds, and 2 days were lost, resulting in the abandonment of the match racing series. As the owner-drivers took control, a newcomer set sail. Renowned Swedish owner-driver Torben Törnqvist sent his Artemis team racing. But Törnqvist couldn't make the appointment, so he sent Sarah Roberts-Thompson.
I work with Torbjörn. I look after just the onshore logistics for Artemis, the TP52, and basically look after the sailing team. And when Torbjörn decided to start sailing in the RC44s, obviously work can take up a lot of time, and he asked me to be his amateur replacement.
The wind picked up enough for the fleet racing to get started, but the light and fickle conditions made the going very tough. However, Roberts-Thompson scored well in the only race of the day. She finished 4th in the 9-boat fleet in her first race at the wheel of an RC44.
Look, it was quite exciting, getting off the start line with a good start, and Dean picked a couple of really great shifts, and we made it to the top mark, I think, in first place. The boats were really, really responsive downwind, and I actually thought it was going to be a lot hairier than what it was, but they're quite easy to manoeuvre down, heading downwind and that, so really enjoyable.
The Russell Coutts-Patrick de Barros combination was again the powerful one. Having finished just behind Armando Gioletti in Lake Garda, de Barros was keen to turn the tables this time around. And while Gioletti notched up 2 victories, he also filed some disappointing scores, leaving the door open for de Barros to add a fleet racing trophy to the 3 coastal race trophies he had won so far in the season.
Well, we're thrilled because we launched Black Pearl a year ago, so it's our first victory. We had some podiums, but it's the first one we win, so we're very happy.
The last leg of the RC44 2008 season was always going to be full on. The new team to join the class, Team Islas Canarias Puerto Calero from Lanzarote, soon realised they'd entered a fleet with world pedigree. Larry Ellison's BMW Oracle Racing were in the hunt for the match racing championship, but could Ellison hold off James Spithill on board Team Siref?
2008's been very successful. I think we've gone to some good venues and you know had a good variety of racing. Very competitive, obviously, getting more and more competitive as the class develops.
The level has increased exponentially. I think some of the boats that were there in the first year have now unfortunately dropped out, and we've got a new set of owners, a new set of boats, all committed, all serious. So yeah, it's a lot more challenging. We're holding our own. We're not at the back of the fleet, but it's definitely a lot more work.
We have been racing only 4 days, and you know, we are the freshman crew in this venue, and you know, it was really tough today with these wind conditions, and you know, we are doing our best to catch up sometimes and try to do it you know, much better as possible. I mean, we're talking about top level skippers and you know, top level crews. We are coming from other class, and we are trying to be as much as professional as possible. But you know, I think it's a matter of time, and you know, today we had many problems at the boat. We broke many things, and we, you know, was trying to fix and try to don't break any other things. So.
You know, obviously this is the end of the tour, and we're in the lead in the match racing, so we'd really like to wrap it out. And it'd be nice to go out in the win.
Australian America's Cup sailor James Spithill won 5 out of 5 from the first day racing.
Oh, it was a pretty good day. You know, we had good wind. You know, sort of you know, 16 to 20, and we had some good racing.
Yesterday we had a great day, so 5-0 was our result. So really good start for today. So last 5 races in matching for this year. So I hope everything will turn really well.
Day 2, and BMW Oracle had to have a big day to stay in contention. However, even before racing began, they suffered structural damage.
We had an equipment failure with the what we call the gooseneck on the boom, and that meant that it parted from the mast, and you know, unfortunately it happened right at the beginning of the day, and that meant that we missed the second day of racing, and you know, unfortunately, you know, that meant that we had no chance in the series.
Whilst the sun was not out in Lanzarote, the wind was perfect, with 18 to 22 knots, allowing for fast sailing. The RC44 fleet touching 21 knots of speed downwind. James Spithill looked just as good as the previous day, winning all 5 of the races, resulting in a clean sweep, a perfect 10 for Team Siref.
I think it's great. We were working pretty hard the whole year. James did excellent result. He proved that he's the best in class in match racing. All the team was excellent, so Obviously, what we were working for the whole year was right.
You know, I thought we sailed pretty well overall. You know, we certainly made some mistakes, but I think in conditions like this you will, and it's just a matter of making less than the others.
With a successful RC44 match racing series in 2008 for Team Siref, their sights would now be on the fleet racing. 10 races would be sailed, including the DHL coastal race. In the fleet racing, 4 teams were in contention for the championship. Team Siref, BMW Oracle Racing, Banco Espiritu Santo and Team Apple. The DHL Trophy Race is a 15-mile race along the coast to Arrecife Airport and back to Puerto Calera. Dean Barker on board Artemis called some good wind shifts up the windward leg to the first turning mark, allowing Torben Tornqvist to steer Artemis into the lead, which he never lost.
It's always great winning. Nothing is better than winning a race, of course, and it's fantastic racing, really fantastic. I mean, the experience driving these boats downwind in these conditions is unparalleled to anything I've done before.
It was a punch-up between Team Siref and Banco Espiritu Santo for fleet racing honours and also for the 2008 season title. As in the match racing, it was Team Siref that took the fleet racing series in Lanzarote.
The event was great, sailing was excellent, wind conditions are the best I've seen till now. So I'm really glad that we are coming back on February next year, because it gives us a lot of pleasure, this sailing here.
Whilst Igor La may have won the battle, it was Patrick de Barros on Banco Espiritu Santo that won the war, securing 3rd in the last race, which was enough to claim the 2008 Fleet Racing Championship.
Feel very well. I think it's been a very hard season. We had, I think, some difficult times at the beginning. We kept progressing. I think to sail, to have the privilege to sail with Russell as tactician, it's a privilege. The crew has done a fantastic job. I think we've proven it. And you know, when you are my age and you reach such a point, you can only but be happy.
That was the conclusion of the RC44 2008 Championship Tour here in Lanzarote. We look forward to coming back here next year in 2009 for the start of the season, and look forward to more fantastic racing in the RC44 Championship Tour.
Dubai is the location for the end-of-season finale of the RC44 circuit, the first time the circuit has left Europe and where the RC44 champion will be crowned. Dubai is renowned as a commercial centre, one of the world's most vibrant cities. The site of the world's largest indoor skiing arena and one of the world's largest oil producers, exporting 2.3 million barrels a day. A litre of water costs more than a litre of petrol. But even though it's but a few miles from the desert, it's increasingly becoming a centre for world-class sailing. It was used as a training base by Alinghi and the Swedish Victory Challenge in the last America's Cup. Its mixture of facilities and climate are making it a favourite choice for the world's greatest sailors to escape the European winter without having to make the journey to the Southern Hemisphere.
Dubai is actually a pretty Amazing place. Not many people know, about how good the sailing is here. We're sort of moving into the middle of winter here, and it's just it's beautiful conditions, light sea breezes, nice warm weather, and it's a brilliant venue when you're here for the European winter season.
The boat is a fantastic boat in terms of its design. It's excellent in fleet racing, and it's a very, very good match racing boat. It's easy to transport. It fits in a 40-foot container. No problem with transportation, and it's relatively cheap. We have a crew of 8 or 9 maybe, maximum 4 professionals. The rest have to be amateur. On the fleet racing, the amateur has to be the helmsman. On the match racing, it's the professional. And it's like, if you were a golfer, what Tiger Woods saying, let's do a season together.
Team Aqua have come into the regatta leading the fleet. They've conducted a professional campaign, and for Dubai resident Chris Bake, it's a homecoming he wants to win.
It'd be nice to come out with a podium. We're going to go out today, assuming the wind comes up enough to do it, to do the best we can.
We have a fantastic team, a real solid group, and we've learned to sail together. All our personalities really flow, and the guys on board are all part of our success.
For the match racing, the owners step aside and the professionals take over. Team Aqua consolidate their position on the leaderboard with 4 wins out of the 7-race series and a 3rd place overall. However, James Spithill on board Team Saref was the man in form. Spithill was sailing with owner Igor La, who'd not raced until 3 months ago. In the closest battle of all, they beat the most successful America's Cup sailor of all time, Russell Coutts, and the Omega team.
Certainly bragging rights against Russell, very, very important, some of the races out here.
The skyline of Dubai was the dramatic backdrop to the final fleet racing event of the 2007 circuit.
A different boat almost wins every day, and hopefully today's going to be our day.
We operate well under pressure, and that's one of the pleasures of working with the team. They're very professional about the way they go about their business. So we'll do the best we can, and hopefully we can pull it off again.
Russell Coutts and Team Omega, with Vittorio Codicasa at the helm, won the first 3 races of the 8-race series, giving them a comfortable lead. Behind Omega, 4 teams were fighting it out for 2nd place. Team Aqua, Siref, Hiroshi and ES Bankers, just separated by a handful of points. In the final race, despite Igor La and James Spithill's numerous attacks, the Aqua boys remained in the lead throughout. As for Russell Coutts and Team Omega, he wins the Dubai Gold Cup after having won the fleet race and finished 2nd in the match race.
It's been a fantastic 2007 championship tour for the RC44 class. We will have more boats racing next year, more teams, and the racing's becoming more and more competitive.
After dominating the entire season with 5 event victories, Chris Bake, Cameron Appleton and all the boys from Team Aqua are crowned 2007 RC44 champions.
Dubai is a remarkable place. A Las Vegas-style development where they say that half the world's cranes are busy building high-rise. But Dubai is also a great place to sail. Warm and usually windy. And in March, Russell Coutts' RC44 circuit was back in town. Pro-Am racing and carbon fibre sailboats conceived by the world's best sailor himself. The RC44 class has matured into an appealing circuit that gives the pros a chance to beat up on each other in a match racing series. And then the owners a chance to take control for the main event.
Well, this year we're getting, I think, a more professional approach from the teams and also the class organisation. The owners drive the boats in the fleet racing, that's the class rule. But for the match racing it's open, and you can get the pros, people like James Spithill, myself or Sebastian Cole or Cameron Appleton actually get in and drive the boats. If the owners want to race against us, they can, and so they can see what it's like to be in a real match race at the helm, or they can participate as part of the crew.
When the circuit comes to Europe, the fleet will expand to around 12 boats, and 6 of them were in Dubai for the RC44 Dubai Cup. Germany's Markus Wieser, at the helm of Sea Dubai, took an early lead in the match racing. But when he came up against America's Cup sailor James Spithill from Australia, well, the Antipodean was cool, calm and took command of the head-to-head contest at the top of the leaderboard. Spithill, who'd already defeated Russell Coutts, collected the win. And with it, the RC44 Dubai match racing title.
When you look at all the pros here with Russell, Cameron, Sebastian Cole, it really is a tough group. Now to come out on top here is a good thing for the team and personally good for me, so I can give Russell a bit later on.
Coming up later in the programme, a front blows through and whips up the surf as the owners take control for the Dubai Fleet Racing Series.
There have been battles for power here since 6000 BC. At the harbour in Cagliari, in the deep south of Sardinia, 10 RC44 yachts slipped into town. As the Sardinian capital strolled through another day, some of the world's finest sailors were arriving. 9 professional skippers, amongst them world champions, America's Cup winners, Olympic gold medalists, whose living depends on the results they achieve on the sailing racetrack. And one amateur skipper whose living does not depend on how he sails. Larry Ellison, owner of US America's Cup team BMW Oracle Racing, is here to race with his America's Cup skipper, Russell Coutts.
Good mode, guys. Real good mode.
It's the first time that the pair have ever sailed together, and the first time that Ellison has ever sailed the hugely powerful and rapid RC44. But theirs was no gentle first ride around the track for Ellison. The Mistral wind was in town. After a handful of hours of practice, it's time for the amateur to meet the professionals in a match racing contest for the Cagliari Cup. Over 2 days, each skipper, racing his owner's RC44, will race one another once. And the man to beat, a professional whose day job is as a helmsman for Larry Ellison's BMW Oracle Racing. James Spithill is on a roll in the class and arrives in Cagliari after winning the last match racing event in Dubai. Larry Ellison's first head-to-head was against the 2007 winners of the RC44 Tour, Team Aqua, with America's Cup sailor Cameron Appleton on the helm.
Well, Larry Ellison rolls into attack. The breeze is a little lighter. The BMW Oracle Racing team will like what they're seeing because they are going to cross ahead of Team Aqua on this first upwind leg.
He's the runner, Brad.
Well, approaching the top mark for the final time. Big bear away there from Larry Ellison. And that's the lead he's got over Cameron Appleton. It's downwind now towards the finish. Surely that's too great a distance for Team Aqua to catch. Pat on the back, Larry Ellison wins.
Event favourite James Spithill also started well. As BMW Oracle Racing acknowledged their first win, 2 of the titans of Olympic sailing were about to line up. Ben Ainsley, 2 Olympic golds and 1 Olympic silver to his name. Mateusz Kuzniewicz, 1 gold and 1 bronze.
I've raced against Mateusz a number of times in the Finn with the last Olympics in 2004. He's a very, very good sailor and certainly risen up to the top of the star class pretty quickly. So, it's fantastic for him. It's going to be interesting racing against him today. We'll see how we get on. Looking forward to it.
We didn't have a chance to sail against each other for the last 3 years. And actually in 1 hour today we'll be racing against each other because our match racing race is the next one.
Kuzniewicz arrived in Sardinia having just added the 2008 world title in the Olympic star class to his CV. Ainsley won the Olympic Finn world title earlier this year.
Well, after the start it looked very close indeed, but Ainsley is gaining all the time and Mateusz Kuzniewicz is now rounding the top mark. There's what, 7-8 boat lengths between him and Ainsley. Well, it may not be spectacular, but it doesn't matter. That is another win for Ainsley. Kusnierovic's second best this time.
Ben Ainsley was enjoying his day. And so was Larry Ellison. He had skippered BMW Oracle Racing to 3 wins. Next match, against the favourite, James Spithill. And as the two teams approached the top mark, it was Ellison who was leading.
Well, a big bear away there by Larry Ellison, 2 boat lengths between them. We're on board now with James Spithill, and the chase begins. Spithill jibes. Wind now 18-19 knots. Power on with Spithill. Oh, well, there's problems there on BMW Oracle Racing, and Spithill is just powering past.
Spithill defended his lead, rounded the final mark of the course, and headed for the finish line.
Well, he may be leading, but it's very close. Oh, there's a problem now on board with James Spithill. There was a problem with the hoist, and now look, Spithill there on the wheel, but they are just broaching. They are just almost stationary. But where is Larry Ellison? He was only a boat length behind, and there he is. Well, that is the picture that tells the story of the Cagliari Cup. Spinnaker in the water for Spithill, and Larry Ellison, well, that is victory.
Yeah, it was back and forward, and then we blew the spinnaker out and did a broach in the last downwind, which was unfortunate.
After a day on the water, James Spithill was lying third. Double Olympic gold medalist Ben Ainsley was second. But all the professionals were behind the amateur skipper, overall leader Larry Ellison.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm really impressed with how Larry's steering the boat. I mean, those conditions were tough for a pro guy driving the boat. I was having enough trouble as it was. So it's pretty impressive to see him competing at a high level. And, just look at their scoreline. They're in equal first today.
Ellison was heading for a showdown with Ben Ainsley, a contest that could decide the RC44 Cagliari Cup. Watch it later on Seamaster Sailing. Lake Trounsay, a breathtakingly beautiful alpine lake fed by the River Danube and set amongst snow-capped mountains, one of Austria's most popular tourist destinations. Lake Trounsay also provides the magical backdrop for the third event in the prestigious RC44 Championship Tour, a circuit which in a few short years has become one of One Design Racing's most respected series. The RC44s provide a truly unique format. Match racing with the best professional skippers in the world competing against each other, and fleet racing where the amateur owners can test their skills with the help and advice of a professional tactician. Team CREF, owner Slovenian businessman Igor Lar and the professional America's Cup superstar James Spithill, 2 individuals with hugely successful careers, brought together on one 44-foot carbon fibre speed machine.
Probably my best sailing achievement to date is the fact that my brother and my sister have never beaten me in a race on the water.
My biggest achievement in business was starting a real estate fund in Central and Eastern Europe.
The match racing element provided some intriguing head-to-heads. Larry Ellison and Russell Coutts on BMW Oracle Racing, hoping to repeat their success from the last event against Spithill on Team CREF. Team Aqua's Cameron Appleton and John Kostecki on Team Banco Espiritu Santo. But it was Spithill who proved victorious over his America's Cup teammates, winning the match racing overall.
One of my greatest sailing achievements is, participating and winning a silver medal in the 1988 Olympic Games. And then I also would like to mention the, 2001-2002 Volvo Ocean Race, which were, 2 totally different types of events. So quite proud of that.
Well, I think my greatest business achievement was in 1985. My partner and I, we bought a bankrupt refinery in the United States called Tosco. And 12 years later, it was the third largest oil company in America.
The fleet racing is the opportunity for the amateur owners to take centre stage. From experienced helmsmen like Larry Ellison and Patrick de Barros, who've sailed all their lives, to Igor La on Team CREF. Hard to believe that 10 months ago he'd never sailed a boat before in his life. But the combination of Spithill and La has got stronger each event. And it's Team CREF who take the fleet racing, and with it a clean sweep of the RC44 Austria Cup to move into second place overall.
Basically every regatta we've done but one, I think out of the 5 or 6 regattas we've done, we've been on the podium. But to come here and be able to take the double is really impressive, and Igor and the guys are obviously very happy.
All the thanks goes to James Spithill. I think he did the most important job on boat. All the crew was excellent. There was no major mistakes, so it was very easy just to steer.
And as the RC44 fleet prepares to leave the exquisite beauty of Austria's Lake Tranzay for Lake Garda, it looks like Spithill and La are becoming the team to beat.
Hello and welcome to Malcesine Slam Cup Lake Garda, Italy.
9 RC44 teams are in Italy for the 4th event of the 2008 Championship Tour.
The event here in Malcesine is it's really one of the best venues to race sailboats in the world. It's spectacular surroundings. But the wind conditions every day are challenging, and for me at my stage of my sailing career, I like variety. So doing 2 days of match racing and 3 days of fleet racing, I think is about the right balance.
Well, we'll start with it's the most beautiful place I've ever sailed. I mean, I have a home in Lake Tahoe, and I used to think that was the most beautiful lake in the world, and it's not. It's here in Garda.
The first stage of the event is the match racing, where the professional skippers take the helm. All except for one, BMW Oracle owner, Larry Ellison. After 8 races over 2 days, there were 4 teams that could win the event. It came down to the last race, and just 1 point separated them. One team in the hunt, the Italian outfit, Team Hiroshi.
I know very well Lake Garda because it's one of my favorite places in Italy. We have a lot of fun and training and races during my first 30 years of sailing.
Dean Barker helming Banco Espirito Santo and James Spithill on Team CREF were also in contention, but it was the amateur helmsman Larry Ellison that came out on top.
Dean really beat me in the start. I was able to salvage a little bit at the end of the start, but I was in a bit of trouble near the end of the start, and Dean, he wanted the left. We almost caught him on that first beat, on the first weather mark. In fact, I thought I had a piece of him, but he was across. And I got slow, and I made a slow rounding on that first weather mark, and where I thought I had him. Russell Coots made a fantastic call. We decided to go left mark, left turn, which gave us the right side of the race course. We just had to fight our way back to get a piece of him at the mark. We just didn't need much, and boy, we didn't have much. When we got to the mark, I would guess that our spinnaker pole was 10 centimeters overlapped with their transom. And we forced them head to wind. They completed their tack, and then they came back and really didn't give us room to go around, and they picked up the penalty, and we got around the mark first. But it was scary. It was scary stuff.
Scary stuff on the racetrack, but not so scary off, as the owners relax before taking the helm in the fleet racing. One team with a youth training program is Team C Dubai.
Not far from now, in the future, we're seriously thinking to have to launch the C Dubai Match Race Academy, starting from the grassroots and up to the RC44 class.
My sailing ambition would be one day to sail America's Cup. It's a long way to go, but I think I can get there. We have Russell Coutts, Dean Barker, James Spithill, Cameron Appleton. It's great to be around these legends.
Heading into the Malchesne Slam Cup, leading the RC44 Fleet Racing Championship 2008 are the Italians, Team Hiroshi. There were 3 days of fleet racing scheduled, but only 2 sailed due to no wind on the 3rd day. It was therefore the DHL Coastal Race that was the decider. Patrick de Barro's Banco Espirito Santo, with Russell Coutts on board as tactician, took line honours.
I think they're very challenging, and it's not because it's the 3rd one I win in a row, but I think they should come double for the trophy, but I don't think my peers will accept that.
Team Hiroshi with Seb Coll as tactician was 2nd, and this was enough to win the overall fleet racing event.
Win RC44 racing is a fantastic opportunity. Is the 3rd victory for us in this year, and we are very happy.
Russell Coutts' RC44 class is an owner-driver class that has fast attracted the likes of Dean Barker and James Spithill. The owners drive with the guidance of the professionals in the fleet racing, then it's the turn of the professionals in the match racing. The penultimate round of the 2008 season was in Trieste, Italy.
Trieste is one of the great venues that I enjoy coming to because the people are so passionate about sailing here. We've had good results match racing with BMW Oracle Racing. We've won 2 regattas and finished 3rd in another one, so we are currently in 2nd place.
2nd in the rankings, but in Italy, 1st on the racetrack. However, the win over Team Suref was short-lived, as all results were void due to no wind and not enough races being sailed. Suref therefore remain at the top of the match racing series. The RC44 fleet, even late in the 2008 season, is catching the eye of sailors who want to own an exciting and fast boat and race amongst the best sailors in the world. One such sailor is Peter Hirema.
We rented this boat to get to know the class, and we thought that the boat was exciting, and it shows out to be. The boat is super, and everybody comes off the boat with a big smile, and there are shouts of excitement when the wind is up there, and we're doing 20 knots, and it's like a dinghy with a keel. It has nothing to do with the ordinary keel boat. It's much more 470 or a Flying Dutchman or something like that, and it's a great feeling. It's great sailing.
Another new team into the class, and leading off the start line of the fleet racing, Artemis, owned by Med Cup sailor Torben Tornqvist. With top 5 positions in all 5 races, Portuguese skipper Patrick de Barros, on board Banco Espirito Santo, with the world's most successful America's Cup skipper Russell Coutts as his tactician, won the Italian round of the RC44 Tour in Trieste.
Well, we're thrilled because we launched Black Pearl a year ago, so it's our first victory. We had some podiums, but it's the first one we win, so we're very happy.
Italian entry Team Hiroshi are the overall leaders of the class going into the last event in December, which takes place in the Canary Islands.
Hello and welcome to the RC44 Gold Cup from Puerto Calero, Lanzarote.
The last leg of the RC44 2008 season was always going to be full on. Larry Ellison's BMW Oracle Racing were in the hunt for the match racing championship, but could Ellison hold off James Spithill on board Team Siref?
2008's been very successful. I think we've gone to some good venues and had a good variety of racing. Very competitive, obviously, getting more and more competitive as the class develops.
The level has increased exponentially. I think some of the boats that were there in the first year have now unfortunately dropped out, and we've got a new set of owners, a new set of boats, all committed, all serious. So yeah, it's a lot more challenging. We're holding our own. We're not at the back of the fleet, but it's definitely a lot more work.
We have been racing only 4 days, and we are the freshman crew in this venue, and it was really tough today with these wind conditions, and we are doing our best to catch up sometimes and try to do it as much better as possible.
Obviously this is the end of the tour, and we're in the lead in the match racing, so we'd really like to wrap it out, and it'd be nice to go out in the wind. Oh, it was a pretty good day, we had good wind, sort of 16 to 20, and we had some good racing.
Yesterday we had a great day, so 5-0 was our result, so really good start for today. So last 5 races in matching for this year, so I hope everything will turn really well.
We had an equipment failure with the what we call the gooseneck on the boom, and that meant that it parted from the mast, and unfortunately it happened right at the beginning of the day, and that meant that we missed the second day of racing, and unfortunately that meant that we had no chance in the series.
I think it's great. We were working pretty hard the whole year. James did excellent result. He proved that he's the best in class in match racing. All the team was excellent. So obviously what we were working for the whole year was right.
I thought we sailed pretty well overall. We certainly made some mistakes, but I think in conditions like this you will, and it's just a matter of making less than the others.
It's always great winning. Nothing is better than winning a race, of course, and it's fantastic racing, really fantastic. The experience driving these boats downwind in these conditions is unparalleled to anything I've done before.
The event was great, sailing was excellent, wind conditions are the best I've seen till now. So I'm really glad that we are coming back on February next year, because it gives us a lot of pleasure, this sailing here.
Feel very well. I think it's been a very hard season. We had, I think, some difficult times at the beginning. We kept progressing. I think to sail, to have the privilege to sail with Russell as tactician, it's a privilege. The crew has done a fantastic job. I think we've proven it. And you know, when you are my age and you reach such a point, you can only but be happy.
That was the conclusion of the RC44 2008 Championship Tour here in Lanzarote. We look forward to coming back here next year in 2009 for the start of the season, and look forward to more fantastic racing in the RC44 Championship Tour.